Welcome to the Designer's Oasis podcast, where we talk about how to build an interior design business that's profitable, soulful, and entirely your own. I'm Kate Bendewald, and today's episode, it's a little different. I recently hosted the workshop called Rewrite the Rules, Build a Business That Feels Like You, and it was so good, I wanted to bring it here to share it with you. In this workshop, you'll hear me unpack the 3 most common mistakes that I see interior designers make when growing or pivoting their business and what to do instead. You'll learn, number 1, why building a business around your ideal client may not be ideal after all, and what to do instead. Why you may want to start designing your business around your personal strengths, your core values, and your lifestyle goals. Number 2, I want to help you redefine success. The traditional ways of defining success usually includes things like money and power and influence. And I'm not suggesting that those things couldn't or shouldn't be metrics for success. But what if we expanded our definition of success? What if ease were a metric for success? What about creative freedom? Trusting clients? I want to help you define success on your terms in a way that includes profit and peace. And number 3, finally, when you start to align your business with your values and you redefine success on your terms, how do you bring this new version of your brand to life? It's not in an updated color palette or a new font style. Keep listening and I'll share how your brand becomes more memorable through your actions, your decisions, and your client touchpoints. You'll also get a peek at my signature program, the Interior Designer's Business Blueprint, which is officially open for enrollment right now. Whether you're just starting out or trying to get clarity and focus on your business, or you're a seasoned designer and you're ready to evolve so that you can do more of the things you love without losing your momentum, this is your invitation to hit refresh and design a business that supports your lifestyle while also crushing your revenue goals. I believe you can have both. So if you're ready to grow with purpose and profit, this is your moment. You can head to designersoasis.com/blueprint to join us while the doors are open. All right, let's get to the workshop. Welcome. Good to see everyone. Get settled in. So you are here today because you want profit, peace, and portfolio-worthy projects. I know that you all have choices in how to spend your time, and it is not lost on me that you've chosen to be here for this next hour with me. So I really hope to make this a valuable use of your time. I want to also ask you in return, give yourself a really high quality hour with me because I think what we're about to dive into is really powerful. I believe wholeheartedly in what I'm about to share, that it works and that it can transform your business and your life. So if you're trying to multitask, I want to encourage you to just give yourself the gift of this next hour, close all those tabs, come with me. I want this to be interactive. So there are going to be some opportunities throughout our chat today for you to chat with me in the chat box. And then we are going to have a live Q&A at the end of this session. So we will have that as well. So hang on to those questions and we'll get to them here at the end. Okay. So if you're new around here, I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version of how I got to be here. In 2011, right after college, I landed my dream job at Oz Architecture, where I was an interior designer. I loved my work there. I made incredible lifelong friends. I had wonderful mentors and projects where I learned a lot. But after the birth of my first baby, I realized that I wasn't quite cut out for the corporate grind. I needed something that would give me more flexibility. So thanks to my adorable husband, Mike, which you'll see right there, who has from the beginning been my biggest cheerleader, who really encouraged me to go ahead and step out on my own and try this business on my own. And so that was back in 2013, and I've been doing it ever since. Not perfectly, I will add. And so I'm going to share with you some of those ups and downs along the way here in a moment. But first, I want to just give you a sense of where we're going today. So first, we're going to talk about why building your business centered around your ICA may be crushing your momentum and what to do instead. We're also going to talk about why money shouldn't be your only metric for success and how can we redefine or perhaps even expand our definition of what success looks like for you that includes not only profitability, but also peace. And finally, we're going to talk about how do we get your brand out of this Canva doc and bring it to life in magnetic everyday actions and behaviors and the way that you communicate with your clients. All right. Also, stick around to the end because I have a fun little gift that I want to share with just the folks that are here live with me today. This is a thank you for showing up live. This is a project report card. I think you're going to love this tool. It's a one-page project grading system that's going to help you really get clarity on what's working in projects and what areas do you need to maybe think about tweaking and working on. So that's coming up a little bit later. Okay. So I mentioned earlier, things weren't always peachy keen. Remember, I set out onto my business journey. I had the experience as an interior designer, I had the education, but I didn't necessarily have the business experience. So I hit the ground running my own business. It was actually really good. I was making lots of money. I was hiring. I had 4 team members working with me. We were getting office space. But the reality was in 2017, just 3 years into running my business, I faced some real burnout. And I'm talking about in ways that were really unhealthy, right? And this really stemmed, I believe, looking back on it now, for me, this was saying yes to everything that came my way. Does that resonate with anybody? Especially if you're just getting started, you're just eager to take whatever comes your way. It's definitely something that I've experienced. So feel free to share. If that's something you've experienced too, feel free to share that in the chat. But the reason behind that is I was terrified that I would fail and that the whole thing is just going to come crashing down, right? I had convinced myself that I wasn't cut out to be a business owner. Fast forward to 2018, our family had the opportunity to move. So we relocated across the country. And it was during this time that I had the opportunity to kind of start from scratch and rebuild. I do recognize that this was a privilege to have this time off to sort of back away from my business and rethink things a little bit. But what's really important is not only that I had that time, but it's what I did with that time and how I changed my business and went on to rebuild it. And this time it was very, very different. This time it felt more aligned, more creative, and more relaxed. In 2020, as many of you know, the pandemic hit, and it was about this time that our family relocated back to Denver. Also in 2020, I launched Designers Oasis because I had a real desire to share what those changes were that I had done that had become successful for me back in Texas, because very quickly I regrew my book of business. I knew literally no one, and I had a full pipeline of clients there in just a couple of years. And I will mention, by the way, I was making more money than I was at my peak here in Denver, but with half the clients. So when I started Designers Oasis, I felt really eager and excited to start to share some of this with other designers who I knew were experiencing some of those same challenges. So that's how Designers Oasis was launched, and that's why we're all here. By the way, I noticed we've got a couple of members here. If you're a member in the Designers Oasis membership, give us a shout out and just say hi, drop us an emoji. Perfect. I see Nikki. Wonderful. Good to see you guys. It always makes me feel better knowing I've got a couple of friends here hanging out with me today. Okay. So meanwhile, my business in Denver started to ramp back up again. And by the start of 2021, without any advertising that I was back or that I was looking for business, I found myself fully booked with perfectly aligned clients that were based on word of mouth referrals. So here we are in 2025, and over the last 5 years, since I launched Designers Oasis, I have spoken intimately with hundreds of interior designers across the globe about their struggles and joys of running your own interior design business. Okay. So I know the struggles that designers face, whether that's wanting to feel confident that you know where the next client is coming from, and that those people are really cool, people that you want to work with, to feel like you have creative freedom within your projects and clients that trust you. So I've helped a lot of designers over the last 5 years, and today I'm going to share a little bit of what we do here. Okay. The other thing, I also know the struggles that clients face. I have closed 3 projects this week, and it's only Wednesday. One of my new clients this week said to me, "Yeah, Kate, but can you make my house really cool?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I can make your house cool." That's my kind of person. So I not only know what designers want, but I know what clients want, and I want to share that with you. Okay. Another thing is we're growing, and that's really fun when a lot of businesses aren't. It reminds me that this stuff really does work and that clients resonate with it. So, by the way, this kitchen, if it looks familiar to you, you may have seen it featured in Domino Magazine. Today, I want to share with you how I realigned my business so that I get to work with really cool, trusting clients on creatively fulfilling, portfolio worthy projects that are consistently getting featured in press, because these are things that you can do as well. Lisa says, whoop, whoop, DO member, couldn't live without it. Yes, I have gotten to know a lot of these members personally at High Point. It's a really beautiful group of people with big hearts, big ambitions, and I feel really fortunate to be able to support all of them. I've shared this with you once already. I'll share this one more time. But before we dig into each of these, I want you to share with me in the chat, which of these three are you most eager to hear about today? What are you most forward to learning about today? Is it number one, rethinking your ICA? Is it number two, redefining success on your own terms? Or number three, bringing your brand to life? Which one are you most excited about? 1, 2, 3. Got some threes, got some twos. One, Gita says 2 and 3. One, okay. Bringing your brand to life. All of them. Cool. 1 and 3. Yeah. Great. I love this. Looks like we're excited about all of them. I am too. All right, well, let's get into it. Okay, so challenge number one. Your entire business is centered around a hypothetical person that we call your ICA, or your ideal client avatar. When we think about traditional business advice, this is what you'll so often hear folks say. If you've ever taken a course, they almost always start with, who's your ideal client? And everything centers around them and everything points to them. Is that right? Right? We've all heard this advice. I have been guilty of giving the same exact advice. Okay. The problem with that, though, is that your ICA, that person can be a little bit fuzzy and unclear, right? This is a theoretical person, a hypothetical person. I sometimes joke that my ICA is like a Frankenstein of all my favorite clients in one. Here's the thing. Your ICA, your ideal client avatar, which I actually call it something different. I call it your dream client persona. There's a reason for that. But this ICA, it is really important. I'm not going to lie. It is important. But I believe that there are some other really important questions that we need to be asking ourselves first before we start to identify and think about who this person is. Because the answer to these questions that we're going to talk about here in a second, the answers to these questions are going to help you identify a much clearer dream client, a much more vibrant, much more colorful dream client, one that you feel like you can actually connect with those people that you actually want to work with. So what if instead you centered your business not just around your ICA, but also these things? Number one, your core desired feelings. How do you want to feel in business? This, my friend, if you take nothing else away from today's workshop, is the most important thing I want you to think about. How do you want to feel in business? Do you want to feel calm, powerful, creative, invigorated? What are those core desired feelings? I mean, we spend so much of our life and our time working on building this thing. It's our other baby, right? We don't want to feel suffocated by it. We don't want to feel drained by it. We don't want to feel confused and overwhelmed by it. We want our business to support us, not only from a profit standpoint, but also from a peace and ease and calm standpoint. The other thing that I think is really important to think about before you even start to think about your ICA is, what are your mission, vision, and values? What are those things that are really important to you, that it's the DNA of your brand? Because what happens is, when you identify those core desired feelings, they will start to influence your mission, vision, and values. Once you get clear on those things, then we can start to think about, okay, so who really is this ideal client and how can I start to attract them? Okay. Everything changed for me back in 2018 18 when I had my, what's called a mini breakdown. And I had to start all over. And I started to ask myself, how do I want to feel? And for me at the time, and probably still to this day, it was, I want to feel creative. I want projects that make me feel creatively energized with clients that want to do cool and fun things, right? I wanted to feel trusted. I had a couple of run-ins with clients who there was always this like weird little underlying feeling of, I don't think they quite trust me. And that, my friend, is so, so, so important in a client designer relationship, is that trust. So I wanted to feel creative. I wanted to feel trusted, and I wanted to feel calm. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to stop trying to fit yourself into someone else's box, someone else's ideal client, someone else's core desired feelings. Those are my core desired feelings, but I want to know, what are yours? Okay. And what if you started to do the same, started to ask yourself these same questions and redefine some of these things for yourself? So this matters because when you center your core desired feelings first, that's going to inform your mission, vision, and values. And those are the things, your values, this is how you show up in the world. This is how you communicate with clients. This is how you respond when there are issues. This is how you make them feel supported. And this, at the end of the day, is how you end up getting referrals and repeat clients and testimonials. When you do those things, your ICA starts to become so much more clear, because you're not going to want to work with somebody who doesn't trust you, or you're not going to want to work with somebody who doesn't help you to feel calm and relaxed in your business. So these are the questions that I want us to start asking first. All right, so now let's chat to each other. I want you to tell me in the chat, off the cuff, how do you want to feel as a creative business owner? What are some of the things that come up for you? Is it spacious, creative, valued, empowered, confident, invigorated, appreciated? Ah, love that. Meredith says, in my lane. That's so good. In control. Oh my gosh. Balanced, calm, creative, proud, wonderful, prosperous, abundant, and deeply valued. You guys, do you start to feel like do you feel a little bit of a shift in your body when you start to think about, yes, my business deserves to support me in this way? It's just something I don't think we're accustomed to thinking about. So, okay, to wrap up here, and you guys feel free, not like a personal shopper, I love that. Feel free to keep adding to the chat. I'm going to look at all of these later, but here's the main thing I want you to walk away from. Our ideal client is important. We do want to get a clear sense of who that is. But in order to get there, I want us to first ask, how do I want to feel in business? Right? And what are my mission, vision, and values? Okay. And let that be the thing that you center first before you start to talk about your ideal client. All right. Is this resonating? Is this feeling good for some of you guys? Is this feeling like, oh, maybe I hadn't thought about it this way? Feel free to drop me a line in there and let me know how I'm doing. All right. Okay. So challenge number 2. Again, in the traditional business world, what are we told that success looks like? All right. You can put it in the chat. What are we told that success looks like? While we're doing that, I'm going to have a quick sip of tea. Wealth, money, tons of money, 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 money. Freedom, sharing, good. Lots of clients, money. Right. Rockstar on Instagram. Yeah. Money, power, status, all of those things is what we're told traditionally is how we define success. Is there anything wrong with any of those things? Absolutely not. Because I know that when women have money, they do some really cool things with it. Okay. So I want you to have money. I really, really do. And I don't want anybody to get confused here that I don't think money is important. Yes, I think you need to be profitable. And also, I think we need to broaden our definition of success. How can we have a more expansive definition for success? And my definition of success is not going to look like yours. Or Haley's isn't going to look like Michelle's. And Jennifer's isn't going to look like Alice's. Okay? Your definition of success is so unique to you. And my job is to help you get clear on what is that definition for you. Okay. So again, traditional business advice says success is just revenue. How much money are we making, right? Because I'll be honest, you can have millions of dollars in the bank. You can even be highly profitable, but you can also be very, very unhappy. And I don't want that for you. So what if we expanded our definition of success to include some of these metrics that matter? So not only profit, but also clients that trust us, repeat clients. You know how valuable repeat clients are? Word of mouth referrals, pipeline of work, right? Knowing that you've got work coming. And right now I am booked through the new year. Okay. That feels really darn good. That's not just people giving me a yes saying, yeah, we're going to do it. This is money in the bank, signed, sealed, delivered. It feels really good. It feels calm. Okay. What about portfolio worthy projects, right? How many of you have done a project just to get the experience or just because you needed the money, but it wasn't something that you felt so proud of that you wanted to pay a photographer to have it photographed so that you could showcase it on your portfolio, so that you could showcase your work, right? That's a lot of time spent helping clients and working on projects for something that you don't have anything to show for it. How do I know? I've been there. I've done these projects. Featured in press, right? You want projects that with clients who trust you, that give you creative freedom so that it's creatively satisfying and it feels like, hey, this is something I could pitch to Domino, AD, whatever, right? These are the kind of projects, the high quality level of projects that I want you to start to expect for yourself. Okay. And let that be a filter. I love this client. They're lovely, but they don't have what it's going to take to make this project worth my time and effort and getting it onto my portfolio and out into press. And that can be part of your, what I call yes test, right? What about ease, calm, peace, joy? What if those were metrics for success? All right. So why does this matter? I read a statistic the other day that 88% of entrepreneurs struggle with mental health. 88%. So chances are most of us in this room have had some sort of struggle with mental health. Okay. I'm going to be honest, the world's changing. We are navigating AI now, and how does that impact our design work? We're thinking about tariffs. How are tariffs impacting our work and how we communicate to our clients and how we price projects, and so many unknowns there. Not only that, we're navigating content. Think about Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, all of these places. We are constantly bombarded with content, this shiny objects that tell us, do it this way, do it that way, right? How will you stay grounded in what really matters to you with all of this information swirling around? How are you going to stay grounded? When you have a clear vision of your definition of success, not mine, your definition of success, the clients, the projects, and the profit will follow. Real quick, I thought this was interesting. Severe burnout, there was a study done that showed that severe burnout significantly reduces creativity. Okay, so they compared these two groups, and the burnout group scored the lowest on all creativity measures, including creative personality, ideation, figural and verbal originality, alongside poor sleep and cognitive performance. So if you're burned out in your job, in your career, you can't show up as the best designer that you really are. Okay, so your mental health, your profitability depends on you feeling balanced and in alignment with your values and your definition of success. Burnout leads to insomnia, cardiovascular health issues, quality of life, sleep impairment, elevated depression, anxiety, and stress. I felt all of this in 2018. I felt it all. Sleepless nights, you name it. Okay. So as we wrap up this little section, here's what I want you to tell me. Tell me in the chat. I want you to think about your most recent project. If joy was a measure of success, would it pass or would it fail? Pass. Esther is an interior design Designers License member. We've all had these projects that just didn't quite make the mark, right? Pass. Okay, great. We've got some passing. I love that. Pass, pass, pass. Pass, but barely. Good. That's okay. All right. Early ones failed. Yep. Kate is also a member in the Designers Oasis membership. I'm so glad to see you here, Kate. Last 5, 2 pass, 3 fail. Okay, good. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. Well, we're going to drop the link to this here in a little bit, but here's what I want to share with you. I created this project report card. It's a very simple one-page document where you'll be able to score your projects on a numerical system that I've outlined and give it a grade so that you can see for yourself what aspects of this project were really fulfilling and what aspects of these projects are not quite working. And that's going to help you hone in on those things that you can tweak and you can change so you can get those projects from fail to pass every single time. Okay, so that's coming here in a little bit. Okay, let's wrap up with this last challenge that I see over and over again. Your brand is trapped in a Google Doc. One sec. What do I mean by this? So I want you to think of your brand as a vibe. It's a vibe that's felt by everyone who encounters it. So I know you guys are smart folks here. You know that your brand is more than just your color palette, your fonts, your tagline, and even your ICA, right? It's more than that. Those are just the mechanisms and the tools that carry your message, okay? Infusing your brand DNA, which is your mission, your vision, your values, and your voice into every action, every decision, and every touch point. That is what it means to bring your brand to life. Get it off the paper and into real life. I'm going to give you a quick example. One of my core values for my design business is hospitality. And to me, hospitality means providing unwavering dedication to service that exceeds clients' expectations. So I grew up in the service industry. I worked in high-end restaurant businesses for many years during college. And I love serving people. I love the hospitality industry. So this is just, and I love hosting parties and having people at my house. Like it's just something that I love to do. So it's very natural and normal that this would be a core value for me in my business. It's one thing to have that written out in a Google Doc, but it's another thing to have it actually show up in action. So I want to give you some examples. How might hospitality show up in action in my business? So every Friday, our clients get Friday updates without fail. That way, clients never have to wonder what's going on with their project. It's my job or my team's job to anticipate our clients' questions and concerns before they ask. Now, our clients are trained. They know that they're going to get this every single Friday, but this is hospitality. In service industry, when you're waiting tables, you never want their water to get completely empty. You need to anticipate those needs before they have to ask. Their drinks are getting low. You're asking, what can I get you next, right? Anticipating their needs. This is hospitality in action. So how does hospitality maybe show up in decision-making? Okay. For me, I've decided that every project of a certain threshold, we are going to host an open house for our clients. And this is going to be a part of our marketing budget. And so at the end of every project, we tell our clients to invite a small group up to 10 of their friends. We provide drinks and charcuterie, and it's just an open house. It's nothing formal. We come say hi. They have questions about the project and why we chose to do some things. We're happy to talk about that. We spend 10, 20 minutes there, and then we leave and we let our clients enjoy their new space with their friends and the food, and how they want to spend the rest of their time is on them. But that open house moment, that's hospitality. And that's something that we have decided is a part of our marketing budget. Okay, touch points, hospitality and touch points. I never, ever, ever leave a client meeting or a phone call without talking about next steps. Next steps help a client feel calm. They understand what's going to happen. They know I've got control of the situation, whatever it is. Okay. So that's a very simple way that we infuse hospitality in our touch points, is making sure that we never, ever, ever end a conversation, phone call, or meeting without talking about next steps. So I want you to think about what are your core values and how does this show up in your actions, in your decisions, and in your touch points, and in your communications with your client, right? How do you talk to them? These are all really important. Marty Neumeier think I'm saying his last name right. He is the king of branding. And I love what he says is that your brand isn't what you say it is, it's what they say it is, right? So what do you think your clients, your past clients or your friends, if they were to, if you were to overhear them talking about your brand and their experience working with you, what would it sound like? What are they going to say? Right? It's that vibe, that feeling that we're leaving them with when we're not around. This is how your business becomes magnetic, recognizable, and consistent. Your brand isn't just words on a page, it's the way you show up every single day. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a question and I want to hear from you in the chat. What's your brand vibe? In one word, can you tell me what's your brand vibe? And how does this come to life in your design business? I'm going to pull up the chat here so I can see. Somebody share with me. Even not asking you to commit this to your brand guidebook, but oh, friendly. I love that. What else? Authentic, aesthetic heritage, down to earth, approachable, empathetic. Candace. Empathetic design is a really powerful filter through your design work. Alive, wonderful. Okay, now some of you tell me, how does this come to life in your business? Think about your actions, your decisions, your communications. How would your brand vibe show up in action? Because this is the sticky part. This is how it comes to life. This is how we get it off the Google Doc or the Canva doc. Meeting client on eye level. Good. What else? Ooh, reading between the lines, right? It's so often it's not just what clients are saying, but what they're not saying. So encouraging them to say more about that. Deep listening, meeting the clients where they are. Cozy comes home to life through hospitality, caring about people and incorporating them into the design. Doing what we say we will do. Love that. Listen and talk to them. Knowledgeable. Treating clients as I would everyone. Respectful but fun. Having open and real conversations. Having real conversations is so important, right? We got to have real conversations about budgets. We got to have real conversations about, no, I'm sorry, I can't meet you on a weeknight because I have kids, but I can meet you on Tuesday morning, right? Wonderful. Staying calm. You guys are getting this. You really do understand how we take this brand and bring it to life in everyday actions, because that's what people are going to remember, right? I forget who said it. I didn't forget who said it. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel, right? Somebody put it in the chat. Who said that? She's the Black poet, author. She's been around forever. She passed away a few years ago. I'm gonna lose my mind if I can't remember it. Maya Angelou, the queen. Thank you, everybody. Okay, yes, I absolutely love that quote. It makes so much sense right here. Okay, so we're gonna wrap up. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the course. I'm gonna give you your bonus for showing up live today. But I want us, before we get into that, to just quickly recap. So number one, we're not going to center our business on our ideal client, although our ideal client is important. We're going to first center our business decisions on thinking about how do we want to feel? How do we want our business to support us? And use that information to inform what are our mission, vision, and values, right? What do I want my legacy to be? What do I want to be known for? How do I want to make an impact? How do I want to change lives? And this information is going to really help you start to center your ICA, and then it all starts to come together. Okay. Number two, metrics that matter, expanding our definition of success. Okay, we want to have an expansive definition of success that includes things like ease, joy, repeat clients, creative freedom, all of those things. And then finally, activating our brand, getting it off of the Google Doc or a Canva doc and into your everyday actions. And folks, part of this is operationalizing the work that you do, which is something we talk about inside the membership all the time. But, celebrating people, hospitality, we love to celebrate anniversaries or birthdays. So when I say operationalize, This is in our onboarding questionnaire for our clients. We get their birthdays, their kids' birthdays. We know their pets' names. We know if they have food allergies so that we're not bringing things that are going to cause an allergic reaction. And we put those birthdays in our calendars, and we have reminders, and we have a gifting program that is operationalized. That is hospitality coming to life. And this is what I want to see you all do in your business. Okay, so we are going to get to some questions, some live Q&A questions here in just a second. But real quick, what I just shared with you today, this is what I want you to be doing in your business. The course, the Interior Designer's Business Blueprint, is something that I want to share with you. And this is where I'm going to tell you how to do these things very specifically. So I want you to ask yourself a couple of quick questions. What if you stopped trying to patch together your business with well-meaning advice from podcasts? Now, I say that realizing I have a podcast, right? YouTube and free Facebook groups. And instead committed to a focused and aligned program that takes you step by step towards building a profitable business with peace and joy and ease, whatever you decide is important to you as your metric for success. I want you to just start to imagine what it would feel like to have a business that supports your lifestyle, or the other way around. And to have those clearly defined metrics for success, however you define it. And to consistently, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, attract those dreamy clients that are really aligned with your vision. Okay, it can happen. I know, because I'm experiencing it. I've seen it work for many, many, many designers. So when you align your values, plan for profit, and live your brand, you can create a business that works for you. And I'm going to show you how. So this is exactly what I'll help you do inside the Interior Designer's Business Blueprint. And today, this is your invitation to join us. Doors are open now. So this is the only course that is designed to help you build a profitable and sustainable business that's aligned with your life and your values. So if any of this sounds familiar, you may want to consider joining us in this course. So if you're tired of square peg round holing yourself into someone else's business model, if you're ready for a more expansive version of success that aligns with your ambition and your values, if you know your design work is strong, but the business side feels kind of messy still and overwhelming or just plain unclear, if you crave more visibility and confidence in your marketing so that clients can find you instead of you chasing them around, and if you're ready for your business to support your life, not the other way around, this is for you. I think it's really important to share that if I can do this, you can too. I'm not special. I do not have a fancy business degree. I do not have cutting edge technology or some hidden resources that no one else can access. This is all stuff that you can do. Okay. I do have a proven blueprint, one that you can follow to create your own customized business plan that's fully your own. It's not a cookie cutter version. It's not someone else's dream, but it's really a business that reflects your vision, your values, and your way of working. So the choice is really yours. If you want to start working, continue to work with complicated clients, or if we really want to have just those beautiful, sweet, dreamy clients that truly trust you, going from having inconsistent revenue to a consistent pipeline of clients, and from having uninspiring projects with limited budgets to projects that really light you up, right? Clients that want to do some of the fun things that you are really excited to do. And from overwhelmed to having real clarity and a mediocre brand presence that's done and moving into having a purpose-driven brand, then this is for you. All right. So here's what's inside. First, there's 3 modules inside this course with 12 bite-sized lessons. So this is very, very, very easy for you to get through, but do not be fooled. It is powerful work. Okay. So they're bite-sized lessons, but alongside it, you're going to have a workbook where you're going to be doing some journaling, some clarity work, and some exercises to help you understand what is going to make the most sense for you. So first, you're going to define your business blueprint with 6 key decisions. All right. So you're going to get clear on those core desired feelings. You're going to get clear on your mission, vision, and values. Then you're going to define who is this dream client persona, this person that you want to work with. And also, where do you want to work? Whether that's across the world, worldwide, or whether it's specific neighborhoods right in your city. These are the things that you're going to get super clear on first. And then you are going to, Here we go. Create your brand DNA with purpose and profit. So you're going to take the 6 key decisions that you made in module 1 and you're going to put them into action. Okay. So this module is really cool because it comes with 3 super powerful tools that are going to help you do just that. And I'm going to share more on that here in just a minute. You're going to attract your dream clients without the overwhelm. Okay. So now that you're clear on who you are, who you serve, how you want to feel in business, and redefine success on your terms, now it's your opportunity to come up with a 90-day marketing plan that is aligned with those things. So you're going to choose strategies that are going to be based on these things. 1, your personality. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? Because we want to align you with marketing strategies that are going to fit your personality, right? I've talked about this before. You may be surprised to hear this because I'm standing here talking on a microphone to you, but you put me on a stage, forget about it. I will crumble and fall to pieces and be a nervous wreck. I have a friend, she loves the stage. Girl can work a room, she can work a stage. That's not my zone of genius. I'd rather go sit at coffee with somebody and get to know somebody personally, or entertain, like throw a party and showcase some work. She does not have any interest in doing stuff like that. So the important thing is it's creating what works for you. So coming up with those marketing strategies that make sense for you based on your personality, right? Your runway. Do you need money today, right? To get the business up and going? Or do you have a little bit more runway where you can take a little bit of some of those strategies that may take a little bit longer to build, but can still be really powerful, right? And also thinking about your budget. Do you have a marketing budget? If you don't, there are plenty of marketing strategies out there that cost $0 or even not low dollars. You know what I'm trying to say? Budget-friendly marketing strategies. And then there are other strategies when it's the right time, like hiring a press agent, that can be hugely impactful on your business. So coming up with what are the strategies that make the most sense for you based on your personality, your runway, your budget, and then put those into action for 90 days. And also give you the tools for how do you measure success, okay? And again, all of this is centered around your core desire feelings and your mission, vision, and values. I want to make it so easy for you to succeed doing this. I felt like it was really important to give you one single tool to help you get through this course. So I have created a SMART workbook. And what makes this smart is that it can work in whatever way makes the most sense for you. Some of you are going to want to write to journal, and others of you are going to prefer to type. So it's either fillable or printable. It's one single file. So you don't have all these things to keep up with. And inside you'll get all of the links to your tools as well. So it's one single Google Doc anybody can access, and it has easy to follow navigation. So this is going to be your tool to go alongside these little videos that I'm going to share with you. Okay, so pricing. If you want to join us inside the blueprint, there's one easy payment for $95, and you're going to get all 3 of the modules with 12 bite-sized lessons. You will have lifetime access to this course, so you can revisit it anytime. And you will, because you're not going to be in the same place in 3 years that you are today. And you're going to want to come ask yourself all of these same questions again, okay, as you evolve and as you grow. They're self-paced. So I want you to build at your own rhythm. Some of you can dedicate a lot of time to this right away and just dig in. And others of you, you might be balancing kids or trying to leave your 9-to-5 or taking care of aging parents. The important thing is that you understand that this is self-paced and you can take these a little bit at a time. But I assure you that I've made these lessons very, very easy to digest. So you can just focus on one little thing at a time and then move on to the next thing. And it all builds on top of each other. Okay, as well as these 3 really powerful resources are also included. Let me share those resources with you. And we are just about ready to get into our Q&A session. Okay, number 1, you're going to get the services and fees planner. This is going to help you map your offers with your offers and pricing with clarity. I love what Brandon says. He says, OMG, it is so fun. Thank you for putting together a step-by-step process. It makes everything so much easier. We can just create instead of getting stuck on what to do next. We're loving the clarity. All right, next, you're also going to get the profitability planner. For those of you who are already in the membership, you will recognize this as the CEO Toolkit. We've added some things, and so we have updated the name to reflect a little bit more clearly what this is. So if you've used the CEO Toolkit before and it's benefited you, go ahead and let us know in the chat. But the profitability planner is, I think of it as your personal CFO in a spreadsheet. This is going to help you reverse engineer your revenue goals based on the capacity your business has. So the capacity that I have, or that Sharon has, or that Haley has, it's all going to be a little bit different because all of our lives are a little bit different. So what is your capacity, and how can you reverse engineer your income to get to where you need to be? So that's this tool, and it is incredibly powerful. All right. And then the last one is the brand guidebook template. So you're going to define your brand once and you're going to use it everywhere. You're going to do the work to clarify your brand voice, the key messages, your cocktail party one-liner, as well as those colors and fonts and all that good stuff. You're going to do that in your smart workbook, but then you're going to document it here. And then this becomes a guide that you share with your staff, with your team. If you hire a social media agent to help you, you're going to give it to them. If you hire a copywriter, anyone. So this is an internal doc. It keeps everything organized so that you're clear on your brand, and that the folks in and around your business that are supporting you also know what to expect. So again, very powerful tool here. Okay, so you would get the course with all 12 lessons and the 3 modules, plus these 3 resources. And this is a total value of $2,091. Now, some of you here are going to want some extra support and community. And so I want to invite you to come join us inside the membership. So you have the option today. And Becca, if you'll go ahead and drop the link to join in the chat, that would be helpful. Thank you. You have the option to upgrade to the membership. And I have some fun stuff coming up this fall. So I think you really want to think about joining us because it's a good time. But we now have just a simple quarterly option. It's $297 a quarter, which comes out to be about $99 a month. So this is a really, really good deal. What to expect inside the membership: we have live support and accountability. We have monthly office hours. We have a beautiful community of amazing, smart, ambitious women. I have stories that I could tell you, but we just don't have time for it today. But of how these members have shown up to support each other in ways you don't see this kind of support from each other in other communities. I know because I'm in them. This is a really special group of folks here. Big-hearted, smart, ambitious. Okay, and then we've got some bonus trainings and resources also inside the membership. So you can get the course, or you can get the course and upgrade to the membership. All of this information will be on our sales page. So you can feel free to take a screenshot if you want, but you can also find it at the link that we've just shared. But this is going to give you a real clear idea of what you get with just the course, or if you want to upgrade, what you get there. So most designers start with the course and choose the membership for extra support, accountability, and community. And that's what keeps them moving forward. Okay, so we already covered that. Here's the comparison. So if you want to look at the different options, you've got this to take a peek at. And then last couple of things, but then we'll wrap up here. If you choose to upgrade to the membership, which I would love to see you in the membership, we have such a good time. We've got a couple of bonuses for you. So I work with some really lovely people in this industry, and they have given you all some really incredible gifts that we're going to share with you all for free. But first, one of the things, we've never done this before, so I'm super excited, is for those of you who are in the membership, we're going to do 3 live debriefs on each of those modules. So the Define, Create, Attract modules, there's 3 modules. I'm trying to get the center of the camera. We're going to do a debrief on each one. Define will be October 9th. November 13th is Create, and then Attract is December 11th. So if you decide to join us in the membership, you can attend these live debriefs where you can ask questions specific to the work that you're doing in the course. You can get feedback. We can look at your website, whatever, but we're going to focus on the content in each of those modules so that you can really pace yourself over the next couple of months. And we're here to support you. And then you'll also have the Facebook group and the live Q&As as well. So that's a $297 value, and it's free when you join the membership. Okay, I mentioned to you I've got some wonderful friends. This is one of my good friends, Katie Boyce. She's an incredible copywriter for interior designers, and she is sharing a gift called Social Proofs That Sells: How to Upgrade Your Testimonials into Sales Tools. So she really understands the importance of high quality testimonials, which we call social proof. And Katie says that not all social proof or not all testimonials are created equal. And she has 4 key markers for great social proof. So this is a download that you'll get And it includes 6 core questions that she always asks her clients and her clients' clients so that she can get top tier social proof and testimonials. And you can plug and play these questions directly into your feedback survey. So if you join the membership, we're going to give this to you as well. And this is a $95 value. And then last, this is my own personal, one of my coaches. I got a few. Mari Giaser, she is dynamite. She has a mini lesson called Confident Communications for Designers. This is a practical science-based training that combines her neutralize your nerve system, complete with warm-ups, stress management tools, and confidence building exercises. And these are video lessons. And let me tell you, I looked at some of these today before we hopped on this call because I had some nerves that I needed to neutralize, and the stuff works. She knows what she's talking about. So if you have to answer tough questions, if you have to have a hard meeting with a client, or if you're presenting a big proposal for your services, or if you have to deliver some crummy news to a client, this is going to tell you how to deliver this with calm and clarity and poise. And this is a $125 value. And you'll get this, you'll get it for life. And it's free when you join, when you get the course and you upgrade with the membership experience. So Mari's wonderful. She's been in the membership before and talked with this, and I'm pretty sure she'll be back soon. Okay, so let's just recap. You're going to get the full Designers Oasis experience. You're going to get everything inside the course, the private community accountability pods, the monthly live Q&A, guest experts we have every month, a resource library, and we also have pop-up events because I'm an Enneagram 7 and I like to do fun things together. So from time to time, we have little pop-up events. So you'll get all of that. Plus, if you join today, you're also going to get those 3 bonus upgrades that I just mentioned. The 3 live debriefs that we're going to do over the course of this fall, which will be really fun. You're going to get the social proof that sells from Katie, and then confident communications for designers from Mari. So really, really, really good time to join us. And then if you do the membership upgrade, it's $7.95 today, and you'll get the course for life. And then after that, you can stay or go in the membership, right? This will lock you in for the next 3 months. This is a self-managed membership. So if at any time you decide you're ready to move on, you certainly can. But if you want to stay, and most of the designers do, then you can just stick around because we got a lot of fun stuff planned for next year. Okay, I know this stuff works. I really do believe it in my bones. I've made this my life's work, but I also think it's helpful to hear from other students and how it's impacted their lives. So you can hear from Andrea, who says this changed everything for her. The time savings of not having to create from scratch was a serious lifesaver. She says she's fallen in love with her business again. Julie says it's really given her traction. She's been in business for a long time. She's finally coming into focus. And then Sarissa, I just want to read this because her words are so precious. And she is a dynamite designer. She says, I've been in business for 10 years. I've rebranded countless times, but this time it's different. Maybe I didn't know it all. Maybe I could go further. And in the past few months, Designers Oasis has taught me how to take my business to the next level. Designers Oasis helps designers of all stages in their business to grow and thrive. And I am truly grateful. And you'll get to meet her in the membership as well. I stand behind what I'm sharing with you today. So I believe really strongly that if you do the work, you will see incredible results. So much that I offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you do the work and you still believe this program is not going to work for you, I will offer you a full refund. You do have to do the work. That's the deal. But if you can honestly say that this hasn't impacted or changed your business, then I will happily give you your money back. Okay. So here it is one last time, and we are going to move on to some questions. You can scan that QR code there, and we will wrap up. So, I'm so sorry. I forgot. I've given away all the things. If you join before the end of the day tomorrow, we're also going to include this masterclass, Selling with Confidence. It's one of our best-selling masterclasses, and it's free. It's a $295 value. We're selling all the time. We're selling when we're trying to win a client, trying to get them to book a consultation, when we're trying to give them our design ideas and get them to buy into that crazy expensive wallpaper that you fell in love with. We're always selling. When we screw something up and we have to fix it, we're selling them the ideas to fix it. So knowing how to sell and feeling confident is a really important aspect of your business. So I want to give you this as well. Okay, Becca, please drop the project report card link in the chat, and it is time for questions. So Mark asks, What's one thing I can do to help elevate my client, my leads? We seem stuck with the same type of client and we want to get into more luxury clientele. It's a great question, Mark. I think it's really important to think about your intake experience with your clients. Obviously, you know that you need to have your best portfolio work. You need to have website copy that is speaking directly to the kind of people that you want, so that when they read that, they can sort of self-select. They can start to see themselves in your world or not. Okay? So think about, perhaps it's you have a question about budget, right? Look at those tiers of budget. Are you saying 10 to $20,000 a range that you're showing there? If so, that's probably too low. What if you switched those price ranges to start at $100,000 or whatever you're comfortable with and at whatever level you want to be in right now? But look at, can you ask questions that help people identify, like, okay, this is the kind of budget we need to have to work with these folks. Asking them, why is working with a designer important to you? This is a really important question because it helps you understand, are they hiring you because they just want somebody to take something off their to-do list? Or do they really want a partner that has a vision and creativity and somebody that can help bring their ideas to life? So I would say start by looking at your questionnaire, your intake form, and really scrutinizing it to see if there's some opportunities to sort of up level so that when people are reading those questions, they can self-select out, as well as, of course, looking at your website. Okay. Nicole says, do you get the membership after the Blueprint course or are they priced separately? Great question, Nicola. When you click on that link, well, first you'll be taken to the sales page. That's going to give you all the information about both the course and the option to upgrade the membership. When you click on the button to pay, you're going to have the option to just pay for the course. And then down below, you'll see where it says upgrade to membership. And it'll have really clearly identify. It'll really clearly show you there. You'll pay $7.95 today for both. And that's going to give you the course for life. By the way, really important, the first module for the course drops in 1 week on September 17th. So you're going to get access to the portal. You'll get the introductory lesson, and then the full thing drops on the 17th. So I want to make sure that that's clear. But the membership you'll get access to right away. So you'll get access to the Facebook portal. You'll get access to, we have our next guest expert is, I want to say next week. And all of the other member benefits are available right away. So I hope that answers your question. We are not offering the membership separately from the Blueprint. This is really important because I want to work with clients or designers in the membership who understand the content, who understand the philosophy that we're working from, which is very different from a lot of the other courses that you see out there. And you just heard today what some of those philosophies are and how they are different. So you can understand what we're all about. Okay. What would you say is a good first marketing step that isn't too expensive to get first clients? But Verena, this is a really good question. And I need you to ask yourself some questions first. Remember, I said earlier that when we think about our marketing plan, there are literally thousands of options available to you. Everything from ads to print to joining networking groups to cold calling people to yard signs, like mind-blowing number of options. But what I want you to do, and this is what I walk you through in the course, is I want you to get clear on these things. Number one, what's your budget? Honestly speaking, what's your budget? Do you have $0? Do you have $100 a month? Can you spend anything on it right now? So think about your budget. Think about your personality, right? What works for an introvert might not work for an extrovert. I'm not going to go work a room with a bunch of strangers and talk about myself and exchange business cards. I will never do that. I'll host an event. I'll go have coffee with somebody. I'll develop relationships with strategic partners because that's the kind of stuff that works for me. I'm a relationship person. Not that those other things don't work. They really, really, really do. Public speaking. I can do this, but don't put me on a live stage in front of a bunch of people IRL. And then what's your timeline? Okay. There's going to be some strategies that are going to have an immediate impact. Google Ads is one of those. You start running ads as long as they're high quality and they're going to the right thing and sending the right message. Those are things that can start to work for you really, really quickly, but it does require a budget. Okay. It doesn't have to be a lot. But those are the things that can have sort of some quicker, faster impacts. Other marketing strategies are going to take longer, and we have to think about. I just did a some of you may have been there last week, Daniel House Club. We talked about how to build a referral network of partners that love you, that love to refer you. By the way, this is in the CEO. This is a replay inside the membership, so you can access this if you join. But the referral partners and building a network of referral partners is incredibly powerful when people know, like, and trust you, and they're constantly referring you. But that's something that takes a little bit of time. So again, we want to be thinking about these kinds of strategies: is what's our budget, what's our runway, and what feels aligned with my personality. And so I've got some questions there to help you figure out what some of those options are. We even have them organized and tagged so you can see, like, these are the ones that are going to give you a quick win. These are the ones that are going to take a little bit longer. These are the budget friendly ones. These are the ones that are going to require a little bit more investment. I really had fun getting that organized for you guys. So you can look through that. Okay. Meredith asks, if you don't feel that you and a potential client are a good fit, how can you best communicate that to them? Wonderful, Meredith. I think it's really important to get clear on doing this early and how to do this in a way that feels right. First of all, I want you to think of it as a gift to them, to your potential client, because if you're not excited about the project or the person or whatever it is, it's not a good fit, you're never going to be able to do a great job for them. But there's another designer out there. There's a designer for everybody. There's another designer that would be thrilled to have that. So I want to encourage you to find some designers that you can refer people to. If somebody's not a good fit for you, they could be a really great fit for somebody else. So think about it not in terms of like, oh, you don't fit my criteria, the budget minimums that I have, or the aesthetic that I have. This is really about serving you. Put it back in the client's hands and say, I don't think that I would be the best designer for you. You don't have to go into a million reasons why. You really don't. That's the number one thing you got to remember is you do not have to explain why. Say, but I do have some other options that I can send you that I think are going to be a good fit. So I would encourage you to sit down at some point and write out in your own words a little script, right? That you can sort of memorize. And I have a discovery call script that I've customized for myself so that when I have to say no to somebody because their budget isn't a right fit, I have language right there that helps me say it. And I literally just read it because it's so hard for me. I'm like, oh, but they're so sweet. Oh, they have a cute story, but they're not a good fit. So I literally have to read that off. So I would encourage you to maybe come up with some scripts like that. If you've done a consultation with them already and you still realize it's not a fit, it's okay too. You can just think of it as a gift, give them value, share with them all of the thoughts that you came up with, all of the recommendations, and then give them as many resources as you can. Maybe give them some recommendations for some other people, and then just say goodbye. And it's a gift. But do not let yourself continue to work with people that don't light you up, that don't trust you, that don't have the same creative vision, because you deserve to have projects. If you want to stay aligned with those core desired feelings, if you want to stay aligned with your mission, vision, and values, you really need to get comfortable with saying no when it's not a good fit. And when you do, you're going to feel a lot lighter. Okay. Sharon says, I looked over the modules you offer, and one is on branding and attracting clients. Can you tell me a bit more about this? I'm assuming I'll need an updated website. I don't know, Sharon. I haven't seen your website specifically, but here's what we're talking about on branding. We're talking about your mission, vision, values, right? I'm also helping you get really clear on, like, what are the things that you stand for, right? I work with a lot of designers where sustainability is really super important to them. And they want to be able to communicate to their clients that they're not going to buy garbage furniture that is going to end up in the landfill in a few years. So it has a lot to do with copywriting and getting that message across, and getting clear on what are those values that you hold dear to your heart first, and then getting that fleshed out into some messaging. So I'm going to help you go through your core messages, your core ideas. I have another designer, friend of mine, Whitney Walker from Farrington Lane in Austin, phenomenal designer. She loves the hunt, the looking for the perfect vintage or antique piece for her clients or incorporating her clients' existing pieces. And that is something that is so clear in her brand that you can see it from the moment you open her website. So I don't know if your website's going to need an overhaul or a makeover. Katie Boyce is an incredible copywriter. So if you need help with that, I highly encourage you to do this work and then work with her to get that message fleshed out if you need to. But it's really about getting clear on who you are first and what kind of people you want to work with and what kind of projects are going to light you up. I made a determination, a number of years ago that if somebody just wants a little of this, a little of that, I'm not interested. That is boring to me. I want the whole shebang. I want the ceiling, the floor, everything is going to be new. And that's just the kind of stuff that keeps me engaged. And so I've had to say no to some clients because they're like, can you help me reimagine my fireplace? It's like, well, I could, but the work that it takes to do that could be spent with somebody else doing, whatever. So you got to get clear. This course is about getting clear on what really lights you up. What are your core values? How do you incorporate that into your branding? And then from there, you would be the one to decide, does it need an overhaul? Can we do a little mini makeover? Tell me if that answered your questions. If you have more follow-up questions, do not hesitate to ask. I want to make sure everyone walks away with clarity. Okay, Ariana says, I'm not sure if you cover this in DO, but I have a budget question. How do you estimate the cost of projects? Ariana, are you asking the cost of what the clients would pay for the design, not your design fees, but the cost for the project work itself? Yes. Okay. We actually have a tool inside the shop that helps with that. We can probably find a link and send that to you. It's not in the membership, but it's plug and play. It's got good, better, best pricing for every category listed in there. And we're happy to share that with you. That said, there is a lot of conversation and chatter inside of our Facebook group where people share resources and ask questions like this. And that's another great place that you can get help is inside the Facebook group or in the live Q&As, getting clear on, generally speaking, what does a kitchen cost on a good, better, best level? What does it cost in New York versus Idaho? Might be a little different. So yeah, I hope that helps. Melanie says, what are your thoughts on hosting a Facebook group in my local market? Apologies if you answered this. I had to step away for a moment. No, Melanie, I didn't answer that. I think it's an incredible idea. We had a member a number of years ago that did this exact thing, and it was hugely successful. Early on in my business, I was part of a Facebook group called the Highlands Mommies, 20,000 people strong group of moms that lived in my neighborhood. And that Facebook group alone was my bread and butter. So, whether or not you need to host your own Facebook group, which could be a lot of work, or if you just need to get engaged with some existing ones, I think that would be the question. And I think I would just ask myself, what is the goal of this group? What are you hoping to achieve? If it's an existing group, even if it's your own, really prioritizing adding value, right? You've got to add value and make it worthwhile for people to spend time there. And you're going to add value, 5 times to your one pitch, right? So if you're going to be selling services in there or pitching your services, just make sure that you're also adding value. So, but I think it's a really great idea. Q&As. So one of the things that we're starting to think about in our business, just to give you some other ideas of some marketing approaches. Last year, I became a certified science and design designer. I think that's how you say it. Because I am deeply interested in biophilic design and neuroaesthetics. And so probably in early 2026, we're going to do some sort of an event alongside with some other healthcare providers to talk about the health benefits of having an interior that supports your day-to-day life. And partnering with some other professionals is a really smart idea because you tap into their audiences as well as your own. So these are the kinds of things that you can be doing. So think about, what is your area of expertise? Are you a color expert? Do you specialize in sourcing vintage and antique pieces? Are you a kitchen and bath expert? And think about think about those and how you could tie some educational opportunities to whatever your area of expertise is. Sharon says, how long will it typically take to go through the modules and complete the exercises? Great question. So the videos themselves are all fairly short. I want to say the longest one is maybe 10 minutes of instruction. And then there's going to be the work that you do inside the workbook. And I think probably each of these, it's you could if you spent an hour a week, you would get through this in 12 weeks. I think I would give yourself about an hour for each lesson if you're just talking about doing the course and then the writing piece. Some of it's writing, some of it's some other things. A little bit of math, but I've got spreadsheets for you, so you don't have to be a math whiz to get through this. But if you did a little bit more time, you could whiz through it really fast. But I've set it up so that our first module is going to drop next Wednesday, and then the other two are going to drop every week for the next following week, so that you can just try to focus on one module at a time. And then again, we have those dates in October, November, December, where we're going to go through and recap the work that you did in those modules. I'm not going to recap the course, but I'm going to answer questions. I'm going to give you feedback. I'm going to ask you to share things with me. What felt hard? What felt sticky? What isn't clear? So that really is going to take place over the next 3 months so that you can take your time with it. I find that sometimes I'll journal and I'll write about things, but then I'll simmer on it. I'll go for a walk and I'll have some more insights or downloads that I want to come back and add. So especially in that first module, I want to encourage you to kind of take your time and really give it some good thought and not try to rush through it. But it isn't something that should take you away from your day-to-day work. How are we doing on questions? Do we have any more? I'm just looking at the chat to make sure I didn't miss any other questions. I saw a comment from Kate Parslow. Kate is all the way from the UK. She says, fabulous as always, have to go, but people consider the course seriously. It has made a huge impact on me and my business and my bottom line. And Kate hasn't paid me to say that. That's true. That's true. All right. Candace asked, do you recommend this course for designers who work for a brand already? Is this helpful as a means to distinguish your personal approach? Oh, meaning that you work for another designer. Is that what you're saying? Yes. That's a really interesting question. This course is really designed to help you as a business owner establish your own brand voice. That said, if this is something that is of interest to you, there's no reason why this work couldn't apply to the designer that you're working for. That would be an incredible value that you could provide to that designer. But also, maybe in the back of your mind, you're thinking, maybe at some point I will be ready to go do this on my own, where I can set my own hours, my own rates, and earn the kind of money that you just will never be able to earn working for somebody else. This would be a really helpful tool for you in that season as well. So it's something that you can return to if and when that day comes for you. Okay. Hope that helps. Candace, wonderful. Thank you. Sharon's talking also asked, can you talk more about what marketing is covered in your course? Yeah, so we talked about it a little bit earlier, but I'll cover some of that again. Really, when it comes to the marketing, the third module, what I'm asking you to do is I'm asking you to start to get some focus and clarity on which marketing approaches, marketing strategies make the most sense for where you are today. So again, I said there's thousands of ways that you could market your business. I want you to just pick 3, 2 to 3 max. Any more than that, and you're going to be spinning your wheels and getting pulled in too many different directions. So we've got a robust list of really common marketing strategies that work for interior designers. So you're not going to see billboards on there. You're going to see the kind of things on there that interior designers, service-based businesses are going to utilize. This is like joining your chamber of commerce, getting involved in some networking groups, that kind of thing. But we have this robust list, and the list is tagged with things like price point, runway. Runway means like how long is it going to take to see the ROI on this, return on investment. how much time and effort and energy does it take? And also, is it suitable? Like, think about your personality. Is this something that's going to take a lot of you putting your face out there, or is this some more passive ways to market your business? So we give you that list so that you can really consider what's going to work best for you and narrow it down to, your top 3. And then next, you're going to get clear on, okay, these are my strategies. What am I going to do to put them into action? Okay. And so then I'm going to walk you through exactly what are the actions that need to happen next to put these strategies into place. And then you're going to do that for 90 days. Very important, because you can't try something once and say it doesn't work, so I didn't get a client from that. Doing anything once is not how marketing works. People have to hear messages over and over and over again. So you got to double down on these strategies for 90 days. And then I'm giving you a tool where you can track your metrics so you can see, how is this working? You have to be able to measure it. And I think that's something that's missing from a lot of marketing strategies, is like, how many clients are we getting from Instagram or Google or referred from past clients? Like, you need to be able to measure that. And so I give you a really simple tool for how to measure those marketing strategies. So again, we're going to pick up to 3, no more than 3, that are aligned with your budget, your personality, how quickly you need a win, how much effort and energy it takes. And then you're going to double down for 90 days and you're going to track your metrics. And then at the end of those 90 days, you're going to take what's working and see how can you take that even further? How can you double down on that? Or the things that maybe aren't seeing a return, what can we replace that with? Okay, good. Sharon, I hope that resonated with you. We'd love to see you inside the membership. We're a little bit past time. So if we don't have any other questions, last call for any questions, go check out the informational page about the course. You'll get all of the information you need there. If you still have questions, if you're still on the fence, email us at support@designersoasis.com. We'll be sure to answer your questions. Thank you, guys. I want to tell you, I'm so grateful for you spending this time with me. I hope that you found this valuable. I hope that this has given you a different way of reframing the way that you structure your business so that you can have profit and peace baked into the way you work. KW, thanks for love the new hair, dude. Thanks, y'all. I chopped it all off. Feels like different person. But I'm thrilled. I'm so happy to have been here with you. I look forward to seeing you in the membership. All right. Bye for now. Thanks so much for listening to the special workshop replay on Designers Oasis. If today's conversation sparked some fresh ideas or maybe gave you permission to let go of someone else's formula, I'd love to help you take these ideas and put them into action. I'm doing this inside the Interior Designer's Business Blueprint, but the doors are open for a short time. This is your chance to grab the step-by-step system that's helped hundreds of designers build a business that supports both profit and peace. And if you choose to upgrade to the membership, you'll get to join me and a cohort of designers over the next 3 months. Work on this together. We've got 3 live co-working sessions lined up to make sure you get the support you need to make massive progress. You don't have to do it alone. Go to designersoasis.com/blueprint to enroll before the doors close. Until next time, keep designing a business and a life that feels like you.
Hey friend, thank you so much for letting me spend a part of this day with you. I'm so passionate about helping designers like you, and I believe in a rising tide, that when one of us does well, we all do better. So if you share this attitude of abundance with me, I want you to do just one little thing. Please share this episode with someone you think might love it. And if you're feeling extra generous today, go ahead and take just 30 seconds to open your podcast app and leave us a 5-star rating and review. It's free for you to do, and it helps me to be able to keep making more episodes and resources for you. However you choose to help, please know I appreciate you so very much. Thank you, my friend. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you soon.